Hello and welcome back to another edition of CovCastMMA. I'm Tom, as usual, with Jamie.
Hiya.
So today's episode, it's a bit different. Usually we do these sort of shows a few days after a recent pay-per-view, but I know we've got UFC 210 this weekend, which we'll be previewing, as well as reviewing the fights in London and Brazil. But I thought today we'd just talk about this weekend's fights because we're going to be away for Easter soon, so we thought we'd bring a show out today because obviously we've got a while until the next one. We don't want to have a 2-month break and have it be quite stagnant. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about, like I said, recent fight nights, upcoming ones, similar format, and today's discussion, with a lot of money fights happening, we're going to discuss our fantasy matches. Ones that could still happen, maybe some past fighters versus new ones, purely ones that we obviously will never see, but ones that would be very cool to see if they ever did. So let's start off with the news, I guess.
The news in sport.
We had a few fight nights past few months, which I had to talk about, but let's talk about them now. So we had 4 today's in Brazil, which, as I said before, it was a very good card and it delivered on a few of them, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say my highlight of the night for
Everyone's
most, I'd say the highlight of the night was obviously Edson Barboza, which was he just keeps living up to his name in terms of highlight reel stoppages and knockouts. This time it was a flying knee, I believe, instead of...
Yeah, well, Darius, he landed quite a lot of strikes, but he went for the takedown. Similar to the Romero and Weidman knockout in the past, wasn't it, where he sort of went to shoot, and then I think as Barboza was going up, he sort of just collided with his knee.
I would say it was maybe Darius, this was a while ago, but I think he may have been even winning the fight, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean,
was
he landed more strikes, but he did have 2 takedowns suppressed, which Barboza was able to stop. But yeah, I mean, it was pretty even going. It was just near the end of the second round where Barboza landed it. But
they just come out of nowhere, though.
That's the thing of him, yeah. You just never know when it's going to come. But yeah, man, it's great to see. I mean, it was a long time since he fought. He hasn't fought in Brazil for years. But he's one of those Mark Henry boys, so his striking is always
that was
great,
the thing I was going to bring up. I was going to say, I didn't actually know that Barboza trained with Mark Henry.
No. He's got a lot of lightweight boys under his belt, because he's obviously got Eddie Alvarez, Frankie Edgar. Yeah. Well, he's featherweight now, but he used to be lightweight champ. And he's got one of the Dagestan boys. I don't know his name, but
was it Tumanov or
he's training with Weidman, isn't he? For his fight against...
sort of he's in with Ray Longo and
Musasi.
Matt Serra's camp. Yeah.
But as I said, there's a lot of great fights this card. We had in the featherweight, in the flyweight division, we had Ray Borg versus Jose Formiga. I got to eat my words a bit because I said, I think Formiga could be the man to beat DJ.
Still maybe.
Yeah, he still maybe. But I mean, Ray Borg, he beat Lewis Smoker at 207. Now he's come in to enemy territories in Brazil and
he did sensational.
He did his job, didn't he? Basically, he just dominated not dominated the whole fight, but whoops, sorry, my phone. But he looked very, very good. Yeah,
that was
and he called out the winner of Wilson Hayes versus Demetrius Johnson, which is a flyweight title fight soon. So I think he deserves the next shot. He's ranked number... He was ranked number 8 going into this. He's now... Where is he? He's number 4. So I think the Benavides and Cejudo, they both fought Demetrius Johnson, I guess.
Are they tied up in fights right now?
Cejudo's got Sergio Pettis at 211, and Benavides has got someone in Singapore. I'm not sure of the guy's name.
I don't want to see Benavides fight 3 times.
No, neither do I. And obviously, DJ's near that record of most title defences, and I don't think fighting Benavides is going to be the big sort of... I mean, obviously Ray Borg isn't the biggest name, but it might be quite cool to have him fight someone different for that big... That's if Wilson Hayes...
Tim Elliott wasn't the biggest name, but... He fought Demetrius Johnson on very short notice.
But I think Ray Borg, he will be getting the next title shot because he's done the sort of thing that gets you title shots now, which is where you talk about
the biggest prospect as well.
Yeah,
Formiga.
Exactly. Yeah, he's ranked number 3 going into it, wasn't he? Main event. I mean, it was the way they obviously built it. So they're saying the Brazilian legend Vitor Belfort, but I mean, as we
said, legend in quote marks.
Yeah, he just hasn't looked good. He said he wants to fight one more time, and I think that's
against CM Punk.
That is so stupid. I mean, I know why he's saying it.
He's serious about that as well.
Is he serious?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so. I mean, that's just guaranteed to win, but... Well, maybe not. CM Punk might be good on the ground.
Yeah. Did you see, this is completely off topic, but did you see Mickey Gao? He tweeted yesterday saying that he is the
heavyweight
champion because
I saw the headline. I didn't look into it.
I'll show his tweet here. It's so funny.
Was it like through MMA math? He worked out that he was...
because WrestleMania was his past weekend. Mickey Gaines, where is it? Here we go, yeah. So it's sort of like that less than more than sort of maths and everything. Mickey Gao, he beat CM Punk. CM Punk beat Seth Rollins. Brock Lesnar beat Seth Rollins. Mark Hunt beat Brock Lesnar? Yeah.
Brock Lesnar beat Mark Hunt.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar beat Mark Hunt. And then I don't know how it works,
Mark
but
Hunt beat
Stefan Struve and Steve Miocic beat Stefan Struve, and so Steve Miocic, so Mickey Gao is basically the UFC heavyweight champion because none of those guys have beaten him. But that's WWE and UFC meeting there in a really weird way. Yeah, so Kelvin Gastelum, he won at TKO just near the end but he hit him really hard. It wasn't just like a sort of ground and pound.
I keep being impressed by. He's one of my favourite fighters now, Kelvin Gastelum, because his footwork
Staying
is
at
just
middleweight
on another
now,
level.
which I think is wise. He was struggling to cut weight at 170. He looks comfortable there, and he's sort of in a Legends tour because up next for him, he's staying in Brazil. His next fight, he called him out. Yeah, is the Spider. He's on the Legends tour, which I don't like this for Anderson. He only just escaped Derek Brunson, but he won that because Derek Brunson respected him too much.
I don't think he won that fight anyway.
Yeah, no, Gastelum's not going to be... He'll respect him after. He might vocally respect him, but in the octagon, he's not going to.
So his last 3 fights... Well, his last 2 fights...
Who?
Tim Kennedy. He's beaten Tim Kennedy, he's beaten Vitor Belfort.
Yeah, so 2 legends,
and then he's going on another legend. He really is on a legend tour.
Well, who else? Anyone else? Any other legends above him in the middleweight? I don't think there is. I mean, obviously Bisping is a legend himself, but yeah, I mean, once Gastelum's here, I mean, Rockhold, Romero, he'll be right in there. Middleweight division. We said on last time, middleweight division is the best division in the UFC.
It is really. It's so stacked. And I saw that Jacare actually said that he wouldn't be adverse to retiring if he doesn't get a title shot soon.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, he has beaten the top guys.
It's hard for those middleweights to really, because there's so many good. I mean, we got Weidman Mousasi on the weekend. I mean, whoever wins that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a shot straight away. We've said maybe you're going to have, because you got Jacare versus Whittaker soon. Maybe, as I said, the winner of those 4 there, the winners could fight each other, and then you have Romero versus Rockhold for an interim belt, because this Bisping GSP date hasn't been confirmed yet. I mean, people are hoping. Bisping's been very vocal recently, saying, if you're not going to sign a date, mate, I'm just going to move on to Romero because he's getting a bit impatient. But I think he's just saying he's not going to.
No,
he's not going to obviously do that.
He's the last person he wants to face in that Oscar.
But I mean, no, I think he's just saying that to get GSP signing it because July is the biggest. It's going to be the biggest card of the year.
Yeah.
But UFC 13.
He just wants the big payday. Let's be honest.
Exactly. So.
And retire possibly undefeated not undefeated, sorry, but undefeated as a champion at least.
Absolutely. So yeah, that was UFC in Fortaleza. That's a very, very good card. Now, London. You remember? You should hear our reactions before this, and then when we said we were happy we didn't get tickets, but obviously we're still fans, so we are still going to watch it. It was on UK time, which is very rare. So we were up, and it's very strange for it to finish at 10 o'clock. And like, it's not 5 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
But it was so good, wasn't it? Like from start to finish. I mean, Lena Landsberg I'm going to go for this whole card because, as I said, we were able to watch it because it was a decent time of night. This whole card was amazing. Like Lena Landsberg, she got absolutely destroyed facially wise, but she still won the fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do remember that card.
And
I
think
crazy.
This idiot in the they had this Q&A the day before we had audience Q&A. Dan Hardy was orchestrating it and had fans asking questions, and this guy said to Dan Hardy, it was more aimed at him rather than because he had I think it was like Ngannou, Misha Tate, and Mickey Gall and Godella on the stage asking questions, but it was aimed at main of the UFC and Dan Hardy himself, saying like, this card is rubbish. Bellator's got a card in May. It's much better than that. Why isn't this very good? And as Dan Hardy said, the first fight in the night, one of these women just fought Cyborg. So it's a great card all the way through. I mean, and obviously a lot of these people, it's mainly British fighters because obviously it's for a hometown crowd. So that guy was just the more impressive.
And plus, this is only a fight night. It's not a proper,
exactly,
proper
yeah.
UFC
That night in Wembley for Bellator, McDonald versus Daly. That is a pay-per-view for them.
That is one of their biggest nights of the year.
It's a debut of one of their biggest stars they've got from UFC recently, in Rory McDonald, a young star, which is quite rare. But no, and you had that was a bit of a snoozer. But Mark DeCasey won it in 30 seconds. Went for that crazy kick that started out straight out of the video game.
A flying something kick.
But it's great to have.
What that was.
He's very young. He's like 22, lightweight contender. He's not ranked yet, obviously, but he's 12-0. Got a performance of the night bonus. 24. Comes out of Democratic Republic of Congo, but he's now
fights out of Manchester.
England, as it says on UFC.com.
Yeah, that was a fantastic. I mean, he made him go stiff. Literally, it was just. I think it was a right hook to the face, I believe. Testing my memory here.
It was Pacquiao in the weigh-in, just looking very like he was laughing him off and stuff. But
there was a bit of animosity going into it.
He called out. I think it was him who called out Cowboy, or it might have been Leon Edwards. I think it was Leon Edwards. One of them called out Cowboy, which is a bit ridiculous. But No, it's great for British fighters. I think it's Mark the case. I get those two lads confused. One of them said they want to fight at the card in Stockholm, so keep the ball rolling, which would be good to see. And then we had, was it Joe Duffy? That was his last fight, supposedly in the UFC.
Ty's is a bit of a legend.
Yeah, but he obviously beat one of the few boys to beat Conor McGregor early in the days. Main card, Arnold Allen. He looks like a very bright prospect, very vocal for a sort of small-looking bloke.
Yeah, everybody thought that Amir Khani, I think I'm saying that right, was the real prospect, comes out of SBG Ireland under John Kavanagh. But got shut down. I mean, he didn't look fantastic. I mean,
just landing more straight as predominant. I mean, both landed for a few takedowns. Well, I mean, Amir Khani, he went for 12 takedowns, only landed 4. Arnold Allen 3, but only attempted 6. So he got 50%. So much better statistic-wise there. But it was predominantly in a stand-up that Arnold Allen won this fight.
Yeah.
Winning, was it 38-37?
Bit of surprise there. Actually.
Yeah, this was a surprise because he was winning the fight. I think Brad Pickett. It was his last fight. Obviously, everyone wanted him and kind of were expecting him to. I mean, Marlon Vera came in at short notice. He was supposed to fight another guy, but he pulled out. So this guy, he was crying at the end because he obviously admires Brad Pickett because he's looked up to him. Yeah, absolutely. How can you not? But it was just one strike, and then Pickett had a lot of clinch control.
Was it just a head kick out of nowhere?
Yeah, just ground and pound, and then ref had to end it. I think begrudgingly, those sort of things, when you see it happen, you always think, because you see the ref, he looked quite apprehensive to break it. Obviously, it's his job, so he's going to. But
Pickett did get straight up. He wasn't out.
Yeah, exactly. That's where some slight controversy lied. But I mean, win or lose, he's still a legend in British MMA. I mean, apart from Bisping and I guess Ross Pearce, you could put in that group as well.
Especially for smaller fighters.
Yeah, well, he's one of the boys who started along with Faber in WEC, really to say, hey, even if you're small, you still can possess that knockout power, and it can still be an entertaining fight. You don't have to be a 6 foot, 250-pound monster to be a good UFC fighter.
One of 2 to beat Demetrius Johnson.
Yeah, that is crazy. That must be crazy. When was that?
That was
that's been a long time.
Probably a good 4 or 5 years ago, when Demetrius was. I think he's only lost 2, Cruz and Pickett, right?
Where the hell is it? It was in 2010 in WEC, so it was by decision. So it's a long way before DJ became the man he is today.
WEC.
Yeah, but again, he had a lot of great fights. I mean, look at his last results. It was coming, to be honest. He won 2 out of his last 8 fights.
Wow. Yeah.
But he left his hat in the octagon, which is a nice.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
And just to see him so emotional at the end of the night really was a bit heartbreaking, actually. But...
And Vera winning performance of the night as well, alongside Mike DeCasey. Fight of the night, performance of the night. Another performance of the night was.
This is my fight of the night.
Yeah, was Gunny Nelson, which is a very odd name, but
Gummy Bear Nelson.
Fighting out of SBG with McGregor and all those boys. He sounds exactly like McGregor, but a bit more Scandinavian.
He does. He's getting a bit of an Irish
twang.
Yeah, twang to that accent.
It was a quite apprehensive contest, but that head kick. Sorry, then a few strikes, and that's the way Gunnar Nelson does it. He doesn't want to knock you out. He wants to choke you out. Exactly. He could have won with a ground and pound there, but he thought, no, that's not me. I'm going to just go down there and just choke him out. And Joban, I mean, this was a big step up for him. He was fighting a top 10 guy because he won recently in Sacramento. But Nelson's a class above him, really, isn't he?
I mean, that's another really top guy for the welterweight division, Gunnar Nelson.
Well, John Kavanagh, his coach, said he wants
Wonder Boy,
which I think
who's the real Karate Kid. I think that was the statement.
Yeah, his stance. It's obviously the SPG way, but his stance, Nelson's, was very similar to McGregor's. It was very not
karate stance.
Yeah, exactly. It was very interesting to see. But Nelson's been away for a while, so I think maybe later on in the year, because obviously Thompson's still recuperating emotionally and psychologically from that Wonder Boy at Woodley fight. Oh, I'm doing it now. Wonder Boy, Woodley.
Oh yeah. It's easy to do.
So that is a fight definitely down the line, I think, because when you're John Kavanagh, you're as big as the fighters sometimes, really, aren't you? You can call it whoever you want, and Nelson, I think he'll want that fight. It's a really high quality contender, and most welterweight guys between Nelson and Wonder Boy are pretty sewn up between now and then, aren't they? I mean, you've got St. Preux, Otis Meyer, Serkinov, Latifi. Oh, whoopster! I'm such a retard. Where are we going? Cerrone and Masvidal and Maya and Lawler are all sewn up at the moment, aren't they?
Oh, Carlos Condit
and Safadine. Condit, he's gone to face of UFC. Given Neil Magny and Don Young Kim, I guess. But
yeah, maybe.
He's kind of got humiliated by Maia in his recent fight. Why was it really light heavyweight? God's sake.
You're only 2 weight classes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of light heavyweight, let's move to light heavyweight. And it was the main event: Jimmy Manuwa versus Corey Anderson.
Jimmy Manuwa. Wow.
Yeah, it's just a left hand from hell, wasn't it? Really, absolutely decked him. He was very apprehensive. He suppressed as expected. Anderson, being a wrestler that he is, he went in for the takedowns a lot, but Manuwa was able to block every single one.
Yep.
Second, he started standing and trading. Bang.
He's got a hell of a left hand.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, his right hand's supposed to be a stronger one, isn't it?
Oh, is it his right? Oh no, it was a right hand, wasn't it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, he finished with his left, but his right hand's he's known for his right hand.
Oh. Okay. No, it is sensational.
Yeah, I mean, he was very vocal at the end of it. He called out, obviously, the winner of DC Rumble from coming into this weekend, which I don't think he's going to get.
No.
I think John Jones.
John Jones would be
the way
a good shot.
The way the UFC is now, and I think John Jones. Look, you see that UFC 210 countdown, which came out the past 2 days. The UFC are already pretty much saying the winner of DC Rumble is going to fight John Jones. They're saying with so and so expect to return this summer. You saw it, right?
I did see that, but I don't think that should be the case. I think.
Yeah, but it's money.
Yeah, and it's the new WME sort of system, but nevertheless, when John Jones came back last time, when they were still under Fertitta management, he had to fight Irvin Prue first.
Yeah. Well, no, he didn't. He was supposed to fight DC. I've told you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. DC pulled out. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He did get Irvin Prue.
So he was supposed to face DC.
I still don't think that. No, I think he should have at least one more test before stepping into a title fight.
What, so against Manuwa?
I would love to see that fight, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But, I mean, a tricky thing I find is you got Gustafsson fighting Teixeira in a couple months or so time in Sweden. And Manuwa said straight up, I'm not going to fight him because he's my training partner. And they fought before in London a couple of years back before they were on the same team. But, like, how can you immediately speak? I mean, I know they're teammates, but Gustafsson is a Formula challenger. He's ranked number 2. Manuwa's ranked number 4. To move up, you have to fight. It makes sense
that you are going to fight him at some point.
Yeah, exactly. You have to fight guys higher than you, and you can't just say because he's my teammate, I'm going to avoid him because I obviously can't speak for Gustafsson, but you can't expect to get to the top of the mountain without fighting the guys who are near you.
Yeah,
even if you're mates. I mean, it doesn't work. I mean, that's why.
Unless you maybe trash talk a bit of a Charleston, and
yeah,
but he doesn't do that.
Yeah, and I mean, you saw it recently in. Obviously, it wasn't a highly ranked contest in terms of where Matt Brown was, but you saw it in Cerrone versus Matt Brown, where they both fight out of. Well, Matt Brown used to fight out of Jackson, didn't he? Yeah, and so they were teammates and friends, but it's business, and you go in there and you try and win. It's not. Manuwa, he surprised you when he said that because he doesn't seem like the sort of bloke to really. Obviously, he has friends, but like when it's this big.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you are trying to get the belt. You're
exactly.
Not trying
to... like. Oh, he's my buddy. I'm like, Jamie. Like, if you were ranked higher than me and at the belt, I'm going after you. Don't you fucking worry, mate.
But did you also see that Manuwa called out David Haye?
David Haye, and David Haye said, I think he's spoken back as well.
I think he said he'd be up for it. I don't know whether it'd be an MMA contest or.
Well, hopefully
boxing.
He was on. Manuwa was on Helwani's show, and he said that I will fight boxing because Ariel was like, oh no, it's a bit unfair, isn't it? All you guys going over to boxing, whereas none of these guys are doing it. But,
kind of started a trend here.
Yeah, well, as Manuwa said, we could be the co-main event to that Conor Floyd night if it happens. Looks like it's going to happen soon. But yeah, he was just saying like, oh well, those boxing guys are pussies. We'll go over there and just beat them in their own world.
Which really isn't the case, I don't think. But...
Exactly, because he goes, David Haye is a big name in boxing and he just lost to Tony Bellew. I'll come to his world. We'll do boxing. We're 2 big names in London as well and everything. I think, why not? Because I'll take him down and smash him. I'll come for his belt. I'll come to his world. It's big money fight in London. We'll sell up the O2 and that makes sense. The thing with these UFC guys fighting boxers, I don't know what it'd be like in America, but I don't know what channel it would be on over here. Because BC have the right to UFC footage and UFC fighters. Whereas Sky predominantly have all the big boxing fights, don't they? So
That's a good point.
It'd be interesting what channel it would be. It's got.
It wouldn't be on something like Spike, would it? Obviously not.
No, it'll be on. I guess it'll just be on Sky Box Office. But there's with these sort of cross promotional contests, there's so many.
Probably a lot of clauses in the contract.
There's so many fingers and pies and people you have to please for these sort of things to fall through.
And just looking at the rankings, actually, Shogun Rua.
Oh, he won it in 14, didn't he? Yeah.
Number 5 at his old age.
Yeah, I was so surprised that he was
I think he's won
rocking.
3 fights in a row now.
He has, yeah. So I like to win or lose. I'd like to see him versus Glover.
Oh, that's a decent fight.
Yeah.
Brazilian showdown.
Sorry.
Brazilian showdown. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was London and Brazil. That was very, very London. I really, really enjoyed.
I'd say both those cards more than lived up to expectation.
Yeah, I think we should try and maybe do a bit of coverage for the Glasgow card. I mean, it's a trek away.
I'd love to go. Yeah, I'd love to go.
After that weekend, I don't care about distance. We should go. All right, so let's talk about some fights the past few weeks or so that have been added to cards, etc. So as we said, he called him out at UFC at Fortaleza. Kelvin Gastelum is fighting Anderson for Spider Silver at UFC 212 in Brazil. It's a co-main event as well. Do you think if he loses, this is Anderson's last fight? Or do we get the Nick Diaz rematch in the future?
I think it should be.
It's in Brazil. I mean, we're already disputing Silver off, but Gastelum is on such a tear, and he's so young, and he just doesn't care about your name.
Who was his last fight before? Oh my god.
Derek Brunson.
Derek Brunson, was it Cormier at 200?
Yeah. It was Cormier and Bisping. Yeah.
I think he lost the Brunson fight, so I'd say if it wasn't for that controversial decision in him winning the Brunson fight and he loses against Gastelum, that would be 3 losses. I think he would be done. Possibly, I think he will lose against Gastelum. I think.
Yeah.
He's just. I think he's just gone now, to be honest. But
it's gonna be good to see though. It's always great to see Silver.
It's always great to see Anderson Silva fight, and he's one of those fighters where anything can happen in the fight with him. I mean, he could be losing in the 3rd round and 10 seconds to go. He can land a front kick and knock you out.
And what else we got announced? So there's UFC Fight Night in Auckland, New Zealand, happening quite late in the year. It's around not late in the year, it's Saturday, June 10th. And main event of that is outspoken UFC heavyweight contender Derek Lewis against Mark Hunt, who's got a really cool new chest tattoo.
Very cool.
In big news.
Yeah.
But this is going to be I can't imagine this going past the first. I mean, but then again, they're both hard hitters, so it could go the distance because they could just land each other punch for punch. But you'd expect someone to get knocked out. I mean, Lewis is on a tear.
But
it's in Auckland. Mark Hunt's, I guess, his home country. Is he Samoan, Australian? I don't know.
I think he's from New Zealand. But I think he's obviously come off a very big loss to Overeem. That knee was a knee out of hell. I didn't see.
I would like. I mean, as you said before, we went. Are we on air? I guess we could call us on air. I don't really know, but
broadcasting.
There we go. If Lewis can get this win, I mean, he's ranked 6. Hunt's ranked 7, so it makes sense. But I would maybe like to see an Ngannou Derek Lewis fight because I think both.
I originally thought that would be the matchup before this one was announced.
And we still haven't got Verdum hasn't fought since 207. I mean, we were supposed to have that Kane fight. He was trying to get a Ben Rothwell fight going. Ben Rothwell, he's gone. He's not even in the top 15. Where the hell's Ben Rothwell?
Well, he's been flagged by USADA.
Has he?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Breaking news. Well, for me.
I think that was like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
All right, calm down.
Sorry.
But so we've got a lot of. I mean, Overeem, he came in recently, so maybe he could face Verdum or Kane, because JDS is fighting Stipe soon, so you're gonna need an opponent for Overeem. He fights very regularly.
Well, it was rumoured that in 213, Alistair Overeem and Fabricio Verdum would
there you go,
face off for the 3rd time.
not Luke Rockhold and Verdum then. Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, Luke Rockhold was. I think that was just speculation. I think Luke was just calling him out because
why not?
He wants to be in the spotlight again.
Yeah, he was on UFC on Fox. I haven't seen him for a long time, really, since he's lost his belt.
Yeah, I think he's doing outside stuff, obviously models and
little
stuff.
modelling stuff. Yeah. Bless him.
I do like Luke Rockhold.
Yeah,
he's got a very a controversial personality, but I think he's just one of my favourite fighters to watch. In general.
Okay, so that is in Auckland. What else have we got coming up? Oklahoma. This is kind of really, apart from the main event with Michael Chiesa and Kevin Lee, sort of like the old man card, isn't it? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah. I mean, Hendricks was victorious in his last fight, wasn't he?
Johnny Hendricks, Tim Boach, yeah.
Tim Boach, sorry. This is Nogueira, Latifi, BJ Penn, Danis Silva.
BJ Penn. I thought it was done.
After that, Yaya Rodriguez embarrassment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Danis Silva, I've never seen.
Oh, Danis Silva was done.
Joey Diaz.
Was Danis Silva? When was his last fight? He must have had one after Conor, because that was in like UFC 1. I want to say 7, 180 something.
It was around. It was.
Poirier was 178, and then
It was Connor's last fight before he fought Chad Mendes. So
yeah, was supposed to fight Aldo, obviously.
Yeah.
In that situation.
But like that's. I don't know what to think of that fight. I mean, Kevin Lee, he's been trying to call out everyone recently.
He called out Khabib. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's a good fight.
Yeah, he said he was a better wrestler than Khabib, which I find questionable. But there you go. I think in this new age of UFC, you have to be more vocal, and that's what a lot of.
He's got a main event out of it.
He does, yeah. And Michael Chiesa shouldn't be underestimated. He's very good.
Okay, so that was upcoming fights, etc. So we got. Well, we always seem to do this every single episode, but there's always developing stuff about it. The Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather. It seems to be happening. I mean, everyone's talking about it a lot more now in terms of the fight. Like Dylan Danis, McGregor's training partner, said McGregor's going to knock him out in the 5th. You got John Kavanagh personally tweeting himself saying, "It is on. Let's do this." I don't know.
Well, that wasn't April Fool's Day.
It was actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I retweeted it.
Did you think that was real?
Oh no, I retweeted it.
You idiot.
Well, it's on our Twitter page. Undo it. I didn't know that. Oh, maybe it's gone.
Oh my lord. Well, I think it undoubtedly. I think it will happen April 1st. Yep.
Damn it.
I think it will happen. I think John Kavanagh was.
Well, what's Dane? There's
Dane's
been saying some stuff about. What's he been saying? Let's have a look. See.
I think he said there's too much money involved for it not to happen.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think there's a lot of weekends where putting fights people think we're not going to win, and they do. Who think it's guaranteed? I mean, obviously, Connor's Dana's boy in this scenario between him and Floyd, so he's obviously going to. People, obviously, all the boxing purists are saying, "Oh, Connor's got no chance." But it seems there's no guarantees. Connor's 27, Floyd is 40. Connor's the bigger, stronger guy. He has the knockout power. It's an interesting
He's a
fight.
lot bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Just look at his frame and his head. He's definitely the bigger guy.
Exactly. I mean, there's obviously those boxing purists. I think they're a bit jealous to this fact UFC is now the mainstream combat sport in the world. Because, I mean, boxing really is just gone off the hinges the past years in terms of pay-per-view buys. And also, do you know why I think it is? Because America, with the exception of Deontay Wilder, they don't really, I mean, Andre Ward as well, but I mean, those two guys aren't exactly uber famous. I mean, and the heavyweights in boxing has always been the place where it's most marketable. And at the moment, Britain are bossing that.
Yeah, British invasion really in terms of boxing.
You can't, it's hard for them to really, and also the British heavyweights are a lot more vocal. I mean, you've got Tony Bellew, who's just come over to heavyweight, but he's being a lot more brash. And then you've got people like Derek Chisora, David Hay, and obviously Anthony Joshua. They just guys who are putting their name out there, whereas
Tyson Fury,
oh Christ, exactly. So I think that, and obviously America makes things famous. So when their guys are on top, that's when the sport's on top. But when there's nothing to be marketed, that's why the UFC is, and there's UFC is just something new and fresh. That's why it's become a lot more popular recently. And I don't think boxing fans are liking that this new guy, who's so outspoken and so confident, saying that he is boxing, is going to come in there and beat arguably the greatest boxer of all time. It upsets them a lot.
Yeah, and I'd say Connor's really been making a statement in terms of making himself more known in the boxing community by. He obviously went to Michael Conlan's first professional fight where he won, and I mean he walked out Conlan in his.
He looked like Don King, didn't he, with his little fiery green coat?
Yeah, no, exactly, and I think he's trying to make a name for himself. And I saw him talking to someone outside the ring saying, "I am boxing."
Yeah,
boxing. You don't know what's coming, and that's quite interesting. I mean, he's obviously trying to make a name for himself.
Oh, we forgot about a couple more fights that are added. We got in Singapore, Rafael dos Anjos is making his welterweight debut against Tarek Saffiedine. Saffiedine recently fighting. Was it Donion Kim at 207? I think it was.
Wow, you're testing my memory.
Yeah, let's have a. I think it was, but I said to Jamie earlier, I think that's good that RDA is fighting someone like Saffiedine in his first welterweight contest because, I mean, it's not guaranteed he's going to get the win. Yeah, there you go. He fought against Donion Kim at 207. Boom. But like, I mean, Saffiedine has lost 3 out of his last 4 fights, so it's not
last win was Ellenberger back in
January last year,
2016.
But I mean, RDA was calling out the likes of Robbie Lawler and Carlos Condit, etc., and Cowboy Cerrone. But to introduce yourself into a division, I mean, you saw with Cowboy, he didn't immediately go after the big boys in the welterweight division. He built up a name, and gradually started getting his bigger fights like he's getting now. So
I mean, that Cowboy RDA fight does make sense because they fought each other twice before.
exactly, yeah. But I think you need to establish yourself in a division before you go after the big boys.
No, definitely.
Speaking of establishing yourself then in the division, then go after the big boys, as I said, Cowboy's done that. And the first fight announced for UFC 213 is...
Oh, wow.
Cowboy Cerrone versus Robbie Lawler. It was supposed to happen originally at 205.
Yeah. No, it was.
Which would have made that even more amazing. But
no, that's supposed to be Kelvin Gastelum and Cerrone.
No, it was that originally. Then it got moved to Gastelum.
Ah.
And because Gastelum was a welter, wasn't he, at that point? And then obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. Have they fought before?
I don't believe so.
No.
Well,
I suppose in his early part of his career, Cowboy's always been a welterweight, hasn't he? Whereas, not welterweight, lightweight, sorry. And Lawler's always stuck at welterweight. Lawler's first fight since losing the belt to Woodley. So interesting how he's... Yeah, it's 201. It's almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Because he fought... It was in July or August 201, so...
That's crazy.
Oh, it's going to be
I
so
mean,
good. Both coming off losses, so
yeah.
I think they both want to prove
I was saying,
themselves.
if Ferguson and Khabib hadn't fallen out, I'd say that would have been my fight of the year, just not on paper, but now I'd say this is.
Yeah, no, it's one I'm looking forward to most out of any fight coming up.
It depends if Conor fights this year. I don't think he will.
He won't fight us, yeah. He's too busy talking.
But wow, that is crazy. Go back to the RDA. Why shouldn't he fight Gunnar Nelson? Would you like to see that?
Yeah, I mean... that might be a more logical one if Thompson doesn't want to fight a guy, because there's always the risk of fighting, because Stephen Thompson's ranked number 1 and Gunnar Nelson's ranked number 9. So there's always that risk going into a fight against a guy who's ranked lower than you to take your place in that rankings. You saw with Masvidal and Cerrone, whereas Masvidal was ranked considerably lower than Don Cerrone. Now Masvidal's taken his opportunity and is fighting Demian for the title shot. So I mean, that could be the case. But yeah, it makes more sense of RDA and Gunnar Nelson, I guess.
I mean, looking at the people that don't have fights right now, you could look at Stephen Thompson, maybe Carlos Condit. If Nick Diaz comes back, wouldn't you love to see Nick Diaz versus... well, you've already seen Nick Diaz versus Carlos Condit, but maybe Nick Diaz versus Wonderboy. That'd be a hell of a fight.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's so many opportunities for Nick Diaz to fight, but...
It depends if he is coming back, though.
Yeah, he's apparently, well, Dana offered them both fights, both Diaz boys, but but Nate said it's not true. Apart from the Eddie Alvarez fight, nothing else has been offered. So I don't really know what to think about that, to be honest.
Yeah, Eddie Alvarez said he was very surprised that Diaz wouldn't take that fight. I mean, Diaz just doesn't.
I think the thing is about that fight though, and if that's where he was maybe thinking, I understand why Nate. Well, if I was Nate, this is how I would feel if I was approached for that fight. It feels like it's battle of the losers, in terms of these are the two guys who are made famous by losing to, well, obviously Nate beat him, but they also both lost to Conor McGregor. So it feels like you're just picking the two. I mean, obviously they're two great high-ranked guys, but you're just picking the two guys against each other because they have that association with McGregor. That's why that would get more intrigue. But I mean, to be honest, most UFC fighters who, for the niche fans, the reason like Holly Holm's famous is because of Ronda Rousey. Yeah. That's why Nunes is famous. That's why Diaz and Alvarez are now famous because of the McGregor association, and Aldo to an extent.
Diaz is huge now. I think most.
Oh yeah, he's
people
massive.
Do know who he is.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
I'd say outside Conor, he's the most famous male fighter in the UFC in America.
Yeah, I'd probably give him that.
Yeah.
That title as well.
But I want him to fight soon, please. It's been.
I just want to see a Diaz fight. I don't care who.
Yeah, he's just so fun.
It's so fun to watch.
Yeah. So yeah, this isn't an upcoming fight, but let's talk about TS 213 for a bit. I mean, it's the equivalent of what 200 was last year, so it's always one of the biggest cards for you. What do you think? Do you think we're gonna have DC Rumble against John Jones? I mean, we talked about it already, but I think that's. I don't
think that's soon.
I don't know if that will be the fight, but I think that's the night John Jones will come back. It's July, or maybe August. But I think that's the sort of night to make sense for him to come back because it's the
might be a bit short notice.
Yeah, I guess we've only got a few months left. I think we're going to see, because it's the co-main event for 212 in Brazil is Gastelum Silva. So I think the co-main, especially at 213, will be Amanda Nunes versus Valentina Shevchenko, because they're trying to get that sorted now. Both girls are tweeting each other quite a lot at the moment. So I think that it's obviously the fight to make, and I think that will be happening at 213 because Nunes is becoming a bit more business savvy in terms of like knowing that fights in Vegas or New York get you a lot more money than fights in Brazil do. So that's why it's similar to Khabib saying he wouldn't fight Conor in Russia, he would fight in Vegas and New York because he gets more money. So that's going to be happening soon as well. Chris Cyborg, but she wants Jermaine Durandame
Well, I'm not
a
surprised.
lot. She's tweeted at us so much. Like she screenshotted the absolute ridiculous featherweight rankings that are on UFC's
Are
mobile
there actually
page.
rankings?
It's just a picture of Jermaine Durandame. That is their not on the actual UFC website, but on the app. There's just a picture of Jermaine Durandame with the belt, and no one else. But she's saying, why am I not on here? I'm the number ranked featherweight in the world, which he is.
Yeah, I don't think there's any dispute in that.
And she also recently, I mean, I think we're on the verge of it being announced or in the process of a deal being made because she vacated her Invicta featherweight belt recently to make Megan Anderson champion. So I think
and they're thinking about maybe Megan Anderson might be coming over as well.
She was at I can't which paper. I think she was at UFC 209 recently, and she had some interviews along with the UFC media under the banner. So I don't know. She was just given her Invicta belt. She doesn't need to defend it. Maybe. I mean, as I said, they need to build the division, and she's one of the best featherweights in the world, Megan Anderson. So it makes sense to bring her. She's very young. She's like 26.
I mean, they need people in the featherweight division. It's as simple as that.
There's no one there.
There is no one there. No rankings available for this selection. It's just they need fighters.
It's been nearly 2.5 months since the first featherweight belt.
And what's next for Holly Holm, do you think?
I'm not sure. I think she needs to go back down to bantamweight.
And she's still ranked number 5 in bantamweight.
I'm sure what Raquel Pennington's going to do. Juliana Pena, that's a good fight. Because she hasn't fought since beating Miesha Tate. Pena obviously lost to Shevchenko. I think those two paired is a very good contest.
I mean, yeah, there's some tough girls in the bantamweight division, definitely.
So yeah, we say Chris Cyborg, she wants to run a man at 2:14 supposedly, but I don't know where it is, but I think it's in New York.
I'm just looking at flashback. I'm looking over the bantamweight division. And I'm just getting flashbacks of Shevchenko beating Juliana Pena.
That's so cool, isn't it?
Crazy. Yeah. By submission as well, which is like I would have put my house.
Oh yeah, I mean
on Juliana Pena being better on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, not better. Well, maybe if it did go to the ground, Pena would win it by that. I can't get my words up.
Okay, let's move on to we got. Yesterday, it's sort of the first. He put a post on Instagram a few weeks ago, but it's the first sort of vocal explanation of what happened at UFC 209 from Khabib Nurmagomedov. He was on the MMA Hour, and he just basically. The main headline quote that came out of it. He said, "I feel like I almost died." He said he didn't eat tiramisu.
I think he did.
Apparently, yeah. I mean, I think he did as well. But he just was. I mean, there's a few things saying like he's drained loads of water from his kidneys. That's one of the reasons why.
Oh, is that why? Well, I don't think they're allowed to do IVs anymore. I think that was one of the new rules. Yeah. Particularly. I actually watched. I'm currently watching a Joe Rogan podcast from 2015, and I think there were new rules brought out in 2015 which said you're not allowed to IV anymore, and then there's this whole blood doping situation as well, which I'm not an expert on.
This is interesting now because he was saying that before that fight, going to the fight, he was saying he was number one contender. There's no doubt he should fight for the title. He's saying now he maybe doesn't deserve to fight for the belt, but because of the Conor Floyd thing, he still wants to fight Ferguson. As he said, if UFC were to offer me the title fight or Tony Ferguson next, I would say Tony Ferguson, which I think makes sense.
Well, they're not going to offer him Conor, are they?
No, but obviously he's just talking a hypothetical scenario.
Yeah.
And I know this is the third time now where it's sort of fallen through the cracks, but it needs to happen for any clarification in that division because it's always if they never fought and whoever went and fought Conor and won, the question would still be looming over that person's head saying, "You didn't fight that guy."
Yeah, no, I'd say so. And when Khabib was calling out Conor so much, he pretty much said, "I need some assurance that you're actually going to turn up," because he's been so prone to putting out of fights, whether it be for weight issues or something else. And I think he needs like a continued run of fights, even if it's just one or two, just to ensure that if he is going to fight Conor, he is actually going to be on the scales and he is going to fight.
Well, he said he's just going to take a bit of time to come back, make weight, and just come back and smash everyone. So we'll see. I hope he does, but.
Hope he doesn't.
I've lost a bit of faith in him since then because it's hard not to. But yeah, I hope Khabib does come back.
I wish him the best.
So we used to talk about UFC on the show, but they've been making waves a lot. Let's talk about Bellator, I guess the second biggest MMA company in the world. they've been making waves a lot recently. So they had Fight Night recently. Jamie, I think this is your more forte. I don't really know much about these blokes, but we had Rampage versus King Mo, Bellator 175.
Yeah,
How did that go down?
they fought previously once before. Rampage got I think a split decision victory. I think that was back probably 1 or 2 years ago. And then this was their rematch. King Mo got I think it was a unanimous decision over Rampage. Yeah, and Bellator, as you said, they're really making waves in terms of big names.
It's their second best buy rate ever. So they're doing very well in terms of money now as well.
No, they are really. Sorry.
You okay?
No, I'm sorry. I've had a very eventful morning.
Okay, but yeah, it went to. It's weird. Their main event was only 3 rounds. I guess that's what Bellator do. It wasn't a title fight.
Oh really?
Yeah, the main event.
No, it wasn't a title fight. No.
Yeah, so it just went to 3 rounds.
But still, main event usually are 5 rounds.
But I think the big thing to come at Bellator news-wise recently is they're having Bellator 180. This summer is their first show, similar to New York to the UFC last year. It's their first show at Madison Square Garden, so it's like their UFC 205, and they're pulling out all the stocks. They got Vanderlei Silva versus Sonnen in is it a rematch? I know they were coached in the Ultimate Fighter.
I'm not sure if they've actually fought each other.
But I mean, they don't like each other.
No, they don't like each other.
And you got Fedor versus Mitrione, which obviously they tried to...
Mitrione.
Whatever, who cares? Cejudo.
Yeah, we're not going to go into that.
But
Vanderlei Silva versus
that was supposed to happen recently, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but
I believe so.
I'm not sure which fight.
Sonnen was going over he was talking about his relationship with Vanderlei Silva, where it went wrong. Basically, obviously they're on the Ultimate Fighter together, and because Chael Sonnen's quite a businessman, he's supposed to be, well, it's because it's in Brazil, he's supposed to be the bad guy.
Yeah, I remember this on Joe Rogan's show.
Yeah, and then Vanderlei, I keep saying Vanderlei Silva. Vanderlei Silva kept trying to pick on him on the cameras, and Chael pretty much said, I'm the bad guy here. You're supposed to be the white knight coming in and putting me in my place.
Yeah.
And he didn't respect
him. You're making yourself look bad, really.
Yeah, no, he didn't respect. It was supposed to be like a business plan, and I don't know why Vanderlei Silva went against it.
Yeah, I think it's just he was a bit...
maybe didn't understand the situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole point. I mean, that's one of the reasons. I mean, loads of people talk about people who would fit in the world of entertainment, and Sonnen is right up there because he's such a...
Oh, yeah.
He's similar to McGregor in that he uses his sort of...
He was the first trash talker.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not just trash talking, but he builds a character around each fight. He's not the same man going into each contest. He's he knows his role in terms of how he knows how he's going to be perceived going into the contest, whether he's going to be the booed or the cheered guy. And with this one, I think it's more...
He's usually the bad guy.
He's usually the bad guy, and he plays it up very well.
The American gangster.
Exactly. So I think...
I mean, even at the weigh-ins, Vanderlei Silva wasn't there. I keep saying Vanderlei.
Yeah, he was on Skype, wasn't he?
He was on Skype from Brazil.
It wasn't weigh-ins, it was a press conference.
Press conference, sorry, yeah.
Weigh-ins 4 months before the fight.
Yeah. Even at the press conference. And even at the press conference...
That adds already favouring Sonnen's book, doesn't it? If you're not going to turn up.
Yeah. No, it definitely does.
More things about Bellator. They've made a lot of waves in terms of signings. Former UFC fighters in Lorenz Larkin, Ryan Bader, Rory McDonald. Ryan Bader's fighting King Mo, apparently, 180 in MSG. So that's Bader, and Bader wants to be light heavyweight champion Bellator, which he was so close to doing in the UFC. He was ranked number 4 before he left. But
yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Rory McDonald, we said he's fighting in Wembley in, I think it's in a month or so. It's mid-May or so. That's gonna be very good. Paul Daly came off a really good flying knee. That was amazing, wasn't it? Yeah. Lorenz Larkin, again, he's welterweight, isn't he? He's welterweight.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He was really high ranked, and then Dylan Danis is in there now, who is McGregor's jiu-jitsu training partner, BJJ world champion. I don't know how many times he's won it, but
he's won like the no-gis and the Pan Ams and
he's trying to be like the sort. Where's he from? Is he American?
He's American.
Yeah, he's sort of like the American McGregor in terms of how he dresses and stuff. And
yeah, I've seen some people that know him saying he wasn't like that before he met Conor. He didn't talk about money. He didn't talk about fashion.
It's infectious, yeah. But I mean, then again,
I think it might be to the Conor effect. If you're around Conor, I think you probably do the same thing.
Yeah, but I mean, I think to be honest, I think it's a good thing because he's making a name for himself. He'll be at Bellator for a while, come to UFC and probably make close out. What does he fight? Welterweight? He looks a bit bigger than McGregor, doesn't he?
He's a lot bigger than McGregor.
Yeah, he looks a bit like Gastelum.
What, body wise or?
Just I don't know, just face. I don't know. But he's one of those few fighters who makes ground game entertaining.
Oh hell yeah!
Because I think
even his
ground game
submission.
Yeah,
Underground.
was he fighting Jake Shields at submission? He's a champion, isn't he?
I'm so looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be so good.
That's crazy.
So this isn't our main discussion of the show, but we've got a couple of questions posted with Bellator. Do you think it's, as we said, with people like Larkin and Bader and McDonald going there, do you see it as a land of opportunity with guys not pleased with the regime at the UFC, or because you've got those main eventers like Silva, Sonnen, what's its face, Fedor, Mitrione.
Matt Mitrione.
They're the four guys main eventing in New York, and they're not late 30s at best.
Yeah, they're all old fighters, definitely.
Exactly. So, do you see this as like sort of a retirement home for UFC fighters, or is it a place where
MLS.
guys? Yeah, it's like the MLS of MMA, or is it a place for, as you said? I mean, it's a mixture of both, I think, because you've got guys like Larkin, Bader, who are going in there because
Michael
they work.
Venom Page.
Michael Venom Page, yeah, exactly. There's a lot of old UFC guys who are going there now and hoping to make a bigger name for themselves financially as well as globally, which they didn't get in the UFC because I guess there's too many cards in the shuffle.
Well,
it's also a money issue as well.
It's a quality difference. I think maybe some. I mean, if you look at Rampage Jackson, I think he'd lost his 3 out of his last 4 fights in the UFC before moving over to Bellator. He's now, I believe, he's like 3-1 in Bellator, something like that. He's been a lot more successful in Bellator, which is no surprise, obviously due to the unparalleled. I wouldn't say unparalleled lack of talent, but just the general quality of competition in Bellator.
Yeah, it's a strange one, but
I think another thing is, do they have like the cycle of fighters? Can they keep it going? Because they got all these old fighters that may last for two like 3 or 4 years longer.
Yeah.
What happens after that? Who headlines their shows?
Well, I think that's probably why they brought in someone like Ryan Bader, who is, I think they're looking at him as their guy for the years to come. Once Rampage and Sonnen and all those guys sort of make way. But I mean, you've got people like I can imagine someone like Bigfoot or Mark Hunt moving to Bellator because it just seems like they're proving ground as well.
Yeah, I mean, Bigfoot doesn't fight for UFC anymore, does he? So
no, he's gone as well. But it's also, I think it's a lot of backstage reasoning as to why so many guys have left recently.
And maybe the new ownership.
Exactly.
We talk about that every also the Reebok deal.
But yeah, that's definitely a reason because it's very strange to have such an influx of people leave at an exact same time to go to a specific company. They obviously offering something to these guys a lot more lucrative than the UFC can offer them.
Yeah, and I guess it is, going back to the Reebok deal, financially, it may be...
Yeah, I mean, that's what so many people were talking about, weren't they, coming out of that, is they've got so little sponsorships now. It's really only your fight of the night bonuses, performance of the night bonus that you're going to get, and you get a very small, slight percentage from the Reebok deal. Well, as it's been reported that the second that Reebok deal goes, under the new ownership, because I think they've got a contract until mid-2019 with Reebok, but once that's gone, they're going to be changing it up. I don't know how. Maybe getting individual sponsors.
That's the old days?
Yeah, most likely. Whoops, sorry.
To name a specific example, Demetrius used to be sponsored by Xbox.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Think how much money he's lost now because of Reebok. I mean, he made...
I think he's still sponsored outside the Octagon.
Yeah, I think he does like gaming and stuff.
Yeah, he's got a big profile.
But he can't put it on his shorts anymore. That's the thing.
No, yeah, it takes away... I don't know how they managed to do that, though. The whole way in which they got this Reebok deal done. Because, like, it's not like you're consulting with one specific company saying, hey, we're going to sponsor the fighters now, so you can't sponsor them anymore. There's so many organisations that you have to speak to and to say, oh yeah, you know this guy you've got promoting your brand when he's in the Octagon and he's one of the most popular guys in the whole company. Yeah, but he's not going to do that anymore. Yeah. He's just going to wear our logo with his name in colours.
You're taking a 75% pay cut.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's not just like one company. It's so many that they had to consult to get that deal done. And it's hard for them to... Obviously, it's gone through, but to beneficialise, I mean, you got things like sports games where you have all the sponsors of these clubs, etc., on the game, but that benefits them because it's a wider platform for them. Whereas this one, they've already got that platform and it's being taken away. It's very strange.
I mean, it's not like a universal thing in terms of sport. I mean,
no.
Say look at the Premier League. You've got Adidas, Nike, Puma, etc. Every club and even sponsors like.
I think it's more of an American thing because most sports in America, like the NFL and NBA and MLB, they like the NFL, everything NFL kit and attire is sponsored by Nike. Same as, I'm not sure what basketballs are, but it used to be Reebok a few years ago in the NFL. Yeah.
No, basketball isn't. I don't think.
Oh really? Oh, right.
I've seen Adidas and Nike shirts.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, but we need Max here.
Yeah. Max is our friend on our radio show for Terrace. Get listening.
6 to 7.
6 or 7 Mondays. Let's move on to this week's discussion. So we've got, with a lot of money, it's money fights basically. And fantasy matches. So with a lot of obviously big money fights coming in with GSP, Bisping, maybe John Jones fighting the future winner of DC Rumble, McGregor Mayweather. We're just going to talk about some fights of old and new, past versus present, ones that could still happen. We'll put their weights in as well, and maybe who'd win those fights, and ones that came close and never happened. So, Jamie, what one have you got?
My favourite one,
or anyone that just pick from. We got a list written down here, but any other ones you can think of?
I would just like to highlight the one that would never happen.
Which one?
Well, Nick Diaz versus Nate Diaz.
Yeah, I put Nick versus Nate down there just because it was. Remember, this is fantasy, my friend.
Yeah, no, but that's not even fantasy. That's just no. I think there's more chance of Arsenal winning the Premier League this season.
Oh,
yeah, and I'm an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, but Nick, I just put Nick versus Nate down there because the story. I don't know how that even happen. They would like have
unless they had like a Gallagher fallout.
Spike one of their splivs. 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 What's a spliv?
Spliv is.
But I just put it down there because I thought it would be quite, I don't know, amusing.
Yeah.
The Gallaghers of UFC.
It's interesting.
They would have to get a time machine for UFC 209 for that to happen again. Why did they not fight in 209?
I don't know.
It's so stupid. Of all places, I mean, I saw Marinello talk about it, the Pride announcer, and Joe Rogan's obviously talked about it as well. Why did they not put... they must have tried to put one of those, or have the fight in Stockton. It was like the only time they were ever going to happen. I mean, maybe UFC Fight Night 209, because it's like... But that's like years from now, because UFC Fight Night 110 at the moment, so that's going to be ages. But, what an opportunity to put both those guys on that card. It would have saved it after what happened with Woodley Thompson and no more Khabib Ferguson. But yeah, so I just put Nick in there because I thought it was quite funny. A fight that everyone's been talking about since he's come back is George St. Pierre versus Anderson Silva. We never got it when they were both in their prime.
Yeah,
obviously Silva,
the two greatest of all time.
As we said, Silva, maybe he's on his way out, but the way in which, but he's still in the middleweight division, and GSP's fighting for the middleweight belt next. I mean, if GSP wins, why not do it? And we had Henderson. We had Henderson Bisping, with exception of. I mean, the reason why that fight happened was because of fan intrigue and a story. It wasn't because of rankings.
Yeah, no. So I would look forward to Henderson versus Bisping over Silva versus GSP every day.
No, but I'm saying the reason why Silva GSP could happen is because of the same way in which that Bisping Henderson fight happened. It's the same sort of reasoning as to why that might happen. It's because
there's definitely intrigue there.
Yeah,
but I'm actually looking at it in an analytical point of view. I don't think it would be the best of fights.
No, I mean,
I think
they're
GSP
not famous for
taken down.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like you're trying to take Michael Bisping down.
But I think I'd still want to see it.
I definitely.
So all these fights I want to see, but yeah. They fight at middleweight. That's the thing GSP spoke. I mean, moving up to middleweight, I know it's only, it's 15 pounds difference to what he was famous for fighting at. That's a big step up because in his press conference, he was talking about the times when he beat the likes of BJ Penn and Johnny Hendricks and people like that. Whereas Bisping said, mate, they're welterweights, lightweights even sometimes. You're fighting me, I can probably fight a heavyweight, pal.
Yeah, Bisping cuts a lot of weight.
So, I mean, even though they're going to be fighting at the same weight, him and Bisping, it's still very dangerous for GSP to assume that he can fight at that weight.
I mean, I think he's only about 5'10", 5'11".
He's a small chap. Yeah, he's not the biggest of blokes.
But nevertheless, he is very muscular. He is a big guy in terms of broadness. I think... No, I mean, he's a solid guy, and I think he definitely could take Michael Bisping down. Although Michael Bisping does have very good takedown. Oh my god, it's a really interesting fight in terms of matchups.
I really hope they can get a date sorted soon because I think 213 is the time for it to happen. Bisping wants it to happen there. It makes the most sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, I'd love to see that fight.
Next on the list, I put these two guys I think Would you like how good would this be? It's a fight that I think could still happen one day. I mean, what if one wins the featherweight belt, if the other one wins the lightweight belt one day? Why not do it? And that's Max Holloway versus Tony Ferguson. I think they're both
That's
very
interesting.
I'd love to see that so much. 'Cause they're both similar, aren't they, in terms of their styles? I think both on incredible win streaks.
Even frames.
Their frames are very similar.
Max
Quite gangly for their weight divisions.
Max Holloway's obviously a lot smaller, but
yes, I mean you could do maybe a catch weight at 150 if Ferguson could cut to that low. I mean, might be quite. I mean, but then again, maybe still 155 because Holloway could easily
move up. Definitely.
Holloway could easily gain 10 pounds to do that fight. That's just one of those. I think purely based on whether you're at this moment in time. I don't know whether they're going to be in the future because obviously I think if Holloway wins, he's going to be actually a fighting champion at featherweight rather than Aldo. I mean, obviously Aldo was for a long time. And Ferguson obviously looks to be their champion soon. But I just put that on the list because I thought it'd be quite cool to see.
It is an intriguing fight. I never
really considered that until I was thinking about this, yeah. But you think they're not that far away in terms of weight division. Their fighting styles are very similar.
Both very good stand-up.
Yeah. They've both become a lot more vocal the past few years as well, especially Max Holloway.
I love
His whole where's Waldo, where's Aldo thing.
Where's Waldo?
I don't know.
That's brilliant.
Who would you see winning that one?
I'd go Ferguson
Yeah,
just because of the size.
Yeah, exactly. Size is always the thing. This one's purely for the British MMA fans. I don't know, because obviously Hardy used to fight welterweight, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I put Bisping v Hardy just because they're like the two most.
Bisping fight, don't you?
Exactly. Well, they're the two most famous British fighters in UFC history. I think it'd be really cool to see. In like they could do it in London. Oh, it'd be so cool.
I've never watched an actual Hardy fight, to be honest.
Oh, it's quality. You should
I've seen highlights.
The Where Are They Now series on UFC Fight Pass. I watched that. They did like a whole bit on his career leading up to his fight against GSP. It's very, very good. He had so many highlight reel knockouts, and he came in on a tear at the start before he went to face GSP. I mean, again, these are just like most of these are going to be catchweight bouts.
Yeah, no doubt.
But this is just like, this isn't like when should they do it? How should they do it? This is like if they did it.
And there's a British intrigue because, as you said, they are the two best.
Yeah.
In history.
Hardy said he wants to fight again soon because someone asked him in London. They were like, what weight would you fight? He said he'd fight lightweight.
Well, Mickey Gall called him out, didn't they?
That's not going to happen. Mickey Gall was on stage when Hardy was answering that question because it was during the London Q&A, and they both sort of just smirked at each other.
I think they like each other.
Yeah. But I think Mickey Gall needs to start facing people.
The Mickey Gall situation is very interesting because he's 3-0, 4-0. I think he's 3-0 in the UFC, and he's just going to be thrown in the deep end now. I mean, he's beating good guys, but not top guys.
That CM Punk is really good.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Oh, he's better than us. But I mean, from now on, he's just going to be thrown in against proper guys. I mean, Sage Northcutt's obviously not becoming prospect, but he isn't a top contender in any form whatsoever. And if he loses like maybe 2 or 3 in a row, then you never know.
Yeah, but I mean, just because you lose doesn't mean you're bad. I mean,
no.
Pretty much every single top fighter in the UFC has lost at least once.
No, it's just a dangerous situation for him.
Yeah, calling out all these sort of big names.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's just going to be thrown in against big guys, and that could have.
I haven't put a name down for this guy to fight. I can't talk today. Fight. Sorry, but that's Demetrius Johnson moving up. I know it's £20, but for a bantamweight title fight, why not? Do you know what I mean? Because I know it's a £10 difference.
When he fought Cruz, that was a bantamweight.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So obviously he lost that fight, but he can fight at that weight. Obviously, I just think that'd be so cool for. I mean, Garbrandt's mentioned he wouldn't mind fighting Johnson. I mean, who wouldn't? But as people have been saying now, he's had a vice grip on the flyweight division for years now, since its inception in the UFC.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's boring. It's just there's just no. There is competition, but there's just no.
And you're surprised he's really the only champion. I mean, if you look at the list of champions right now in the whole UFC, he's really the only guy to not be that vocal. I know he's number 1 pound for pound, but if you look at every single champion of the UFC,
not Jose Aldo.
Not Jose Aldo, but I mean he's been active in terms of who he's been against, and like he's gone after the big fights. Whereas I know Johnson's been fighting the guys who he's been asked to fight, but you'd think for the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the UFC, he'd be wanting to call out these big names. I know he wants to. I know he's chasing that record at the moment, and it's very important to him, as it should be. But once that's said and done, go for the Garbrandts, go for the Dillitals, go for the Cruz.
I think his philosophy is just line them up.
line them up
keep,
one by
keep
one.
them coming.
Yeah.
And I would love to see him fight a bantamweight again. I don't know, maybe a rematch with Cruz. Obviously, you've got Cody versus. Why am I even talking? This isn't going to happen, but
Yeah.
it is a fantasy fight at the end of the
But
day.
it might do. I mean, he's only £10 off, and I think a lot of guys are calling for DJ to sort of get into the mix of, mate, you're the man at the moment. Just fight people who are becoming the man as well.
Yeah, and now that Connor's done the consecutive belts at the same time, maybe he thinks,
Exactly.
I
Well,
want a bit of the pie.
Nunez wanted to go for that, but shut up.
Well, Nunes versus Cyborg, that's a fight. Wow. Sorry, Durand is champion, but I still think Cyborg is.
Oh yeah, she's the unspoken champ.
Yeah.
Well, we'll mention Cyborg in a second, but
this one is.
Well.
No.
Okay, you say it. Then. What do you think about this?
No, I think it's interesting.
I've got Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Royce Gracie. Because
I don't even know where to start.
Well, he's the pioneer of the. He's the first guy to do the UFC properly. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You see some of those fights he had at UFC 1 and back in the day, they were just like blokes, like looking like pro wrestlers.
They're like the Pride days, yeah.
Exactly. And now you've got this guy coming in a nogi, just choking everyone's to death. He's a UFC Hall of Famer, quite right.
Well, it's the whole thing, Sambo versus Jiu-Jitsu.
He's a pioneer, yeah, exactly. But it would be.
I don't even want to say anything because I have no idea what would happen in that situation. I mean, Royce is a big guy as well.
Do you think the fight would start with them just both going to the ground? They wouldn't even try and punch me just by falling on the floor.
Just come into my guard, please.
Yeah.
No, that's
What did he fight at?
interesting.
Gracie, what was his weight?
I'd probably, if I had to guess, I'd probably say 170, 185.
Hmm.
Does it say? Wait, I've got it here.
Light heavyweight.
Like heavyweight?
Mm.
No, this is 180 pounds. Yeah.
Oh, well, his last fight in 20. He fought, but he's a Bellator guy as well. He fought at Bellator 149 last year against Ken Shamrock. What the hell?
Wow.
For the light heavyweight belt. And he was Sakuraba in 2007. Oh, that's a tasty fight.
He's fought in Pride. K1 was his last fight.
No, his last fight was against Ken Shamrock in Bellator. That's 2016. Before that, yeah, here it is. Because they're not going to mention Bellator fights on UFC.com, Jamie. It's the enemy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm looking at UFC record in terms of... No, instead of MMA record.
But yeah, what the UFC used to be like. His first, pro fight was at UFC 1. And they used to do tournaments, didn't they? And he won both. He won the first few tournaments where,
1993.
Yeah.
UFC 1, the beginning.
It was like a little tournament.
Oh, yeah.
They did tournaments, so he won UFC 2 as well, in another tournament as well.
He's fought 3 times in that night.
Yeah. Oh, he's crazy. But he is the man. He's like the godfather of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I think Khabib is now probably the most famous ground game fighter in the UFC right now, with the exception of Damian Maia. That'd be a good fight, Damian Maia, Gracie. Oh, Jesus.
Even Marcelo Garcia.
Yeah. CM Punk.
Joe Rogan. That'd be sick. Matt Serra.
This next one, you spoke about before we started recording today. Why are you shaking your head? I put Conor McGregor versus Chael Sonnen purely based on, I think the prelude and the talking would be amazing, because wouldn't it?
It would.
Can you imagine? What Sonnen fights at light heavyweight, doesn't he? Around that.
He's fought at light heavyweight and midweight.
McGregor don't give a fuck. He'd move up. He'd go to
185 pounds.
He'd go to middleweight. He wouldn't care.
But Conor's my boy, but Sonnen would just take him down and.
Nah, he wouldn't.
He would.
Yeah, but how?
Do you know how big?
I know. Yeah, but wouldn't you want to see the press conferences? They do a press conference every day for those two.
They would, yeah, and that would never get boring.
It would be amazing. That's the reason I put it, just because sometimes this fantasy list isn't based purely on style matchups or weight. It's based on just what would be cool.
Okay, in terms of speaking, that probably would be the best fight of all time.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of the fight in itself, I think Sonnen would take him down, and the result would be inevitable, to be honest.
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
But you don't know this.
Or Conor could.
Let's get him on the phone.
You never know.
Yeah, so.
I don't think that was.
I just put it because I thought it'd be fun. It'd be cool. I think the trash talk would be something we'd all want to see.
On another level.
I know he's in Bellator now, but I wish Son was in the UFC in his prime. I mean, no, I wish he was in the. He obviously wasn't in the UFC in his prime. I wish he was in the UFC now in his prime, because he would have been the perfect guy for it.
Oh yeah.
Because this age of trash talking and talking to get yourself bigger fights, it is just tailor made for someone like him. Can you imagine him just tearing into like Rumble? I mean, he might not beat Rumble, but in that sort of area of the UFC, in that sort of weight class, there's no one like that in the UFC. I mean, obviously John Jones can talk a bit, but there's no one in that upper echelon of the UFC in terms of the heavier weights where you got that outspoken individual. He would have been perfect for this sort, because you got McGregor in the lighter weights. It would have been so good to have him in this time.
I mean, I've got one that you haven't put on the list.
Go for it.
Which is, well, I can think of one fighter that I would like to see actually didn't fight in the UFC, which is Joe Rogan. No, he's legit. I mean, obviously BJJ, black belt, taekwondo, kickboxing, he's done everything. And I think he did say there was a reason why he didn't go into it, and I think that was because of his health. I think the implications of it have on his health. Right. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think I did listen to a podcast a while ago where he stated why he didn't become, professional in it.
Did he try to do it?
I don't know if he tried to, but I think it was a real option at some point.
Okay.
That'd be interesting. I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him fight, because he's obviously a bit of a master in terms of the martial arts. I don't know how to phrase it.
That is a T-shirt right there, guys.
What?
Okay.
Master.
What else have we got next? So we got. I don't know much. What is your history and knowledge on Tito Ortiz? Tito Ortiz versus John Jones, because he was a man in the early stages for UFC lightweight division. Obviously, John Jones was for a long time.
I mean, Tito Ortiz has had a beef with everyone.
Exactly.
Chuck Liddell, Ken Shamrock, obviously Chael Sonnen.
Yeah, they fought recently, didn't
We
they?
can't say
Tito Ortiz won.
I think that Tito's trash talk shouldn't be underestimated either.
No, not at all.
Even in the recent fight against Chael Sonnen, that was crazy in terms of the pre-fight antics and Ortiz making it a bit more serious. I think Chael was pretty much just laughing throughout the whole thing. And
yeah. Well, I think we're going to the fight. Everyone thought Sonnen was going to win because Ortiz seemed way too emotionally invested into that fight, didn't he? But he came out on top, and it was in the first round as well, wasn't it? He just took him down at ground and pound.
Oh, you haven't named Miko Krokop in.
Well,
K1 champion.
Where did he fight at?
Krokop. I think he did fight in the UFC for a bit. But back in the day, he was one of the most exciting fighters to. He fought Wanderlei Silva back in the day, actually. Knocked him out for a head kick.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, of course.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I just put John Jones because Tito Ortiz. I mean, John Jones has obviously fought pretty much everyone in the lightweight division apart from Rumble Johnson. So I think that would have been a great fight for him to happen. Couple of women's fights we got here. This isn't going to happen, but a couple of years ago, everyone saw it as the fight to make. They both tried to get it done. They both campaigned for it. It was Chris Cyborg versus Ronda Rousey. If this was 2014, 15, before she lost to Holly Holm, then this would have been the biggest fight in the history of women's MMA.
No, definitely.
Because I mean, if they tried to get a bantam, if they introduced Cyborg at the right time, just as Rousey was before she lost her 2 fights, and Cyborg, that is the name she said the second she came into the company, and it was definitely what the UFC wanted to do, but it was just hard to make because obviously Rousey was away for so long. But this would have been amazing if they did this.
Yeah, I think they would have sort of represented Cyborg as this sort of animal coming in to take Rousey's throne. I think the story would have behind it would have been
absolutely.
Would
and
have
the Cyborg's so marketable because she looks like a monster.
She is a monster.
Yeah. That's the and her English is perfect, and I think it's very rare for Brazil. I mean, Nunes is great, but she hasn't got that obviously she's incredible, but that intimidation factor, which when you look at someone, you go, Jesus.
Yeah, no way.
And Cyborg's got that, and
Yeah.
Rousey, 3 years ago, she was the Mike Tyson of UFC, wasn't she?
Untouchable. Yeah.
So that would have just been, of all the people to have originally beat her, that would have been the best because of the story. The reason I think the Holly Holm thing was even more shocking was just because the build up to it wasn't as big.
No, everybody wrote
No,
off Holly. Like,
this would
the
have
casual
been
fan did at least.
yeah, exactly. The build up to this, I think the casual fan might have been a bit more hesitant just purely based on the appearance of Chris Cyborg. But they never got it done. I mean, now you've got Cyborg who's going to be fighting featherweight belt soon. Ronda Rousey, we don't know if she's coming back, but that would have been great to see.
Even the star matchups in that one. I mean, a lot of Rousey's game is actually through judo.
Yeah,
a lot of people know that.
Stand up predominantly and clinch from
so she
Cyborg.
flips you on your head and then arm bars your arm off. But then you have to take in. Could she even take down Cyborg? That's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And then if it does go to the ground, Cyborg is a legit black belt, and what would happen on the ground? I've got no idea. That is. I know this isn't a fantasy matchup. It's going to happen. The fight between Duranda May and Cyborg, I want her to destroy her. Yeah, I think most people do.
Purely based on the snooze fest she gave us at 208.
And the dirty tactics.
Dirty tactics and the lack of charisma she had in her post-fight interview.
And the straight excuse that, oh, my hand.
Yeah, the second you get offered the biggest, probably with the exception of Joanna Jędrzejczyk, the biggest fighter the UFC have to offer is Chris Cyborg in terms of women's division.
Just thinking about women's MMA in general. Mackenzie Dern.
She lost.
She lost?
Yeah, she lost this weekend.
She lost?
Yeah, look. I swear she did. I was going to text you about it. She lost the fight this weekend against some randomer.
Oh no.
Yeah, you go. Some random.
Submit someone. What? This isn't an MMA fight.
It's not MMA. She still lost in jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you actually meant in an MMA fight.
No. But yeah, she
got
choked
surprising that she lost in a jiu-jitsu. Okay, I don't know what to say about that, but I still think she's an upcoming prospect.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean,
I could see her going to an Invicta or something.
I mean, she is in an MMA promotion right now. I'm not sure which one.
But where is she now? Let's have a look. She is.
I think she's 3-0 in MMA right now.
She is, yeah. It was for She's fighting at Legacy.
Oh, Legacy.
Yeah, and both fights, two by decision and one with a Imanari choke.
She's just so high level.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be great if we never really had
catch weight, 118 pounds.
That big sort of so she's predominantly a strawweight fighter, I guess, or 120.
She's done 120 pounds.
She could be the first flyweight UFC champion. And speaking of fight, I'm going to talk about Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I haven't put an opponent for her, but I just said her as a flyweight. The reason I said that is just because she's she's still fighting a lot more opponents. I mean, she's got Andrade in a month or so. And I think there's unfinished business between her and Kalvakovic, who's fighting Gudela soon.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think if the way in which that division seems to be going, once that's all said and done, I think she'll still be on top. And
I don't see her losing anytime soon.
I think the next weight division that's going to be introduced in the UFC for women anyway is obviously the flyweight division. There's no doubt.
There's going to be 5 divisions then. Oh no, it's strawweight, flyweight, bantamweight. No, 4, sorry.
Yeah,
and
maybe atomweight one day as well. But atomweight. Hey, Michelle Watson was atomweight champion in Invicta. She's no joke. I'm actually so happy that she has to.
How many pounds is that? Like 100.
105.
105 pounds.
Atomweight champion. No, I just said Joanna Jędrzejczyk as a flyweight just because I think it would open the door for maybe some people from bantamweight to move down, which you could get some interesting fights there. And also just
Demetrius Johnson.
Fresh, yeah. Just freshen up a bit. But where she is right now, there's still great opportunities for her. She's a fighting champion. She fights very regularly for someone who's so dominant and it's for someone who goes the distance a lot. Obviously, they usually fight. They take longer breaks, don't they? Because usually, people like Rumble, they fight on occasion, fight very quickly because they win.
And his fight's usually over in about 10 seconds.
His last 4 fights has been 7 minutes.
7 minutes, yeah.
But Joanna, I just think she's so marketable now. As I think if she wins, I think she's aiming for beating Ronda Rousey's title defense record, which I think is 5. I think she'll easily beat that. Well, I say easily. Jessica Andrade is no slouch, but I think that's her main aim at the moment. But I think if she does win those next few fights and defends her belt at record time, I think she has to be considered. I mean, I know Cyborg's this conqueror, but I think the level of she's mainly fought at Invicta, which compared to the quality of the UFC, I know, and the UFC comes on leaps and bounds in the past few years in terms of, I mean, the bantamweight division, the UFC especially, it's not just strikers, it's people like Pena and
Even Shevchenko, I mean.
Shevchenko, exactly. People like that, and Pennington, they're specific skill sets rather than just Miesha Tate, exactly. And Jędrzejczyk, she has been facing people who have got such specific qualities rather than just stand-up, that she's faced a high level of quality of opponent, and I think if she does get that title defence record, she has to be considered the greatest female fighter of all time.
No, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. And she's European, yeah.
Obviously, Ronda's not anymore, but...
Rowdy. Well, she's one of the best.
yeah, of course.
See,
it all depends whether they introduce this flyweight belt, and I haven't heard any speculation over it.
I don't. You shouldn't introduce the flyweight belt until the featherweight belt's been... Don't introduce one division when you've got one division stuck in the mud already.
Although there is a lot more... There's going to be a lot easier to introduce a
flyweight
flyweight belt.
Oh yeah, we've already had flyweight belts already, like Beck Rawlings and Joanne Calderwood. I think they fought at catchweight 125 a few years ago. Valerie Letourneau, she's left unfortunately, but she would have been perfect for 125.
It's sort of a good, because bantamweight can move down, strawweight can move up. It's
exactly, you got that middle ground. Whereas featherweight, you just got people moving up, and it's just a bantamweight girls rather than a mishmash of both. Yeah, so that is our list of fantasy fights that we'd like to see in the future. So we're going to take a break for when are we back? I'm back May the 1st.
Yeah, May 1st, 2nd, something.
So
like that.
I think our next show is going to be around May the 15th. So it's a couple of days after UFC 211. No, it's not. No, we'll do a show. What I'm talking about? We're going to do a show when we get back.
Oh yeah, reviewing 210.
Reviewing 210. What am I on about? So we've got too much. Yeah.
And also Fight Night.
So yeah, I think we'll do it just before. A week before 211, because then we can review.
The last 3 cards before 211.
Yeah, so we've got, as I said, this weekend we've got UFC 210, which is Anthony Rumble Johnson versus Daniel Cormier, and co-main is Weidman Mousasi. You've got Cynthia Calvillo. She fought at 209. She's fighting at 210.
Yeah.
American top team girl. And main event at UFC Kansas is Demetrius Johnson. Wilson Hayes is going for, is it title defense number 10? Or?
Oh, really? Is it 10?
It's something like that. It's great. Oh, 9 at least. Let's have a look. See. Mighty Mouse Johnson. Here we go. Jesus Christ.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So that's when he won the belt.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he's going for defense number 10.
Who has the most in history?
Anderson Silva with 11, I believe. So that's the main event in Kansas. You've also got 2 quality fights there with Michelle Watson versus Rose Namajunas, which most likely is going to be the winner will fight Jessica Andrade versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Yeah. I'm so torn. I love both of those girls so much. I think they're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I love Joanna so much.
These 2.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Namajunas and
Watson. Both recently choked out Paige Van Zandt.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's maybe where this fight came from, and also a middleweight, not eliminator, but
that's my main event of the evening.
Jacare versus Rob Whittaker. Yeah, it's a very good fight. And
obviously, Jeremy Stevens.
Jeremy Stevens on there. You got Volkov versus Roy Nelson, Smolka versus Tim Elliott, Aljamain Sterling's fighting again. Pretty good card, to be honest. A very good card. Obviously, ended with a title fight, and then the main event of UFC Nashville. This has got a lot of personal beef going on, hasn't it? You got Cub Swanson, who is the most recent fight was against Doo Ho Choi, which was incredible.
One of the best fights of all time.
One of the best fights of ever, all times.
Of
ever. And he's against Artem Lobov, who's a training partner of Conor McGregor. He's moving down to featherweight. He fought at lightweight in Belfast, but he's going to be fighting at featherweight here.
Okay.
This has come from just Lobov saying, I can beat Choi or Swanson. And boom, we've got it. And it's going to be great, isn't it? It's going to be so good. And a few names fighting. We've got Quintana versus Sanchez. Evan Slippery's fighting. John Dodson's fighting. Joe Lawson versus Stevie Ray, who follows us on CovCastMMA. Thank you, Stevie. Big up. Mike Perry, Jake Ellenberger. Brandon Moreno. Sam Alvey. So a lot of UFC's released. I mean, we said this at the start of the year. The first couple of fight nights at the start of the year were a bit, not lackluster, but I think everyone just took a break. Do you know what I mean? Because everyone wants to spend time with their family around Christmas, New Year's, etc. Maybe at February as well. Now we're getting to the meat of the year, and you're getting these really solid cards now. Like with the fact that you're getting a flyweight title fight on a fight night on Fox, not even on a pay-per-view.
I mean, 211, 212, and 213 could. I mean, they're just crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. 211. I mean,
209 could have been crazy as well.
Yeah, it's just, but things happen. Let's just hope and pray between now and this weekend, especially DC. I don't think Rumble. Just hope DC. Please stay healthy, mate.
Yeah.
Just please stay healthy. And Wyman and Musasi, I mean, they're fine. Both still won't get injured.
Yeah.
But DC, you've only got a few days, mate. Just please stay okay.
I'm so looking forward to that fight.
Oh, it's going to be incredible, isn't it? So that is it for a month. So this is like end of our
6th edition.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you guys again when we get back after Easter. Have a great Easter, everyone.
Yep.
And we'll see you just before UFC 211. We'll preview UFC 210 and any other news that happens.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.